Yeah. Ain't No Money in Poetry, episode 11. Today is going to be a powerful episode. We're getting into the 5 things I wish I knew before I left my job. Let me turn this down. The 5 things I wish I knew before I left my job. It's about to go down. Keep it locked right here. Let me get IG together. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got to bring my IG family in to the fold. Boom. Okay, boom. Yeah. IG, what's going on? Ain't No Money in Poetry Livestream Series Part 11. 5 things I wish I knew before I left my job. It's about to go down. Let me see. 5 things I wish I knew before I left my job. 5 things I wish I knew before I left my job. What's going on, family? What's going on, IG? I am live on YouTube right now, so if I ain't looking at y'all, it's because I'm on YouTube, just so y'all know. We're going to jump right into this thing. This might not even be 15 minutes. I just got to drop this information for y'all real fast. In case you did not know, I'm listening to a new spoken word artist that I discovered, C. Nicole. This is her album, Drip. Drip, drip. Drip, drip. Nah. Anyway, let's dive right in. I got my notes ready. We're not even going to waste no time. 5 things I wish I knew before I left my job. As y'all know, I'm a full-time spoken word artist, professional expert, and CEO. I've been doing this for 14 years. I left my job 8 years ago, so I've been full-time for the last 8 years. I've done other little odd things to kind of keep the income supplementary, but for the absolute most part, my full-time gig has been through my artistry. And today, I want to go into 5 things I wish I knew before I left my job. This is going to be very, very quick, but it's going to be very, very powerful for anybody who's caught up in that middle ground. Like, you at work, you don't know if you want to leave your job, you're scared to leave your job, you have this thing in your heart that's telling you to pursue your art full time, but you don't know how to go about it. You don't know what things you need to keep in mind. Now, I will start by saying this. If you know everything that you got to go through in order to be super successful through your artistry, you're probably not going to do it. So just keep that in mind. But what I'm going to do is give you some absolutely powerful pieces of information that can definitely help you in that transitional period, okay? So the first thing I wish I knew before I left my job is how much I needed to save. I wish I really thought through how much I needed to save in order to really make it as a full-time entrepreneur. What I thought in my mind was that all I needed to do was save $7,000. I literally saved $7,000 for a period of, I'm going to say maybe 4 months. About over 4 months, I saved $7,000, and I thought that this was going to carry me through the rest of my life on this journey to be an entrepreneur. I was wrong. Anyway, $7,000 was gone in the first 6 weeks. So 6 weeks into it, after I left my first tour was from New York to Miami. So this is what happened. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. So I was at my job. I worked at a civil rights museum, fresh out of college. And I had already been there for about 4 years. I got promoted. I was looking at another promotion right before I left. And something in my heart was telling me it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? That we can go into that whole reasons why, but I kind of just wanted, for the sake of time, just kind of give you that piece of the story. Basically, it was time to go. And I kind of tricked my family, I tricked my job, and told everybody, hey, I'm gonna go do this 6-week tour, this East Coast tour from New York to Miami, hit 14 cities in 6 weeks. It was 11 cities and wound up being 14 cities in 6 weeks. And I said, after that 6 weeks, I'll be coming back to my job. That was 8 years ago. So about a year into it, I think my family realized, like, okay, yeah, he left his job and he's not coming back. Not only is he not going back to his job, he's not going back to his hometown either. I think he's gone. And that's basically what happened. And slowly but surely, everybody kind of got acclimated to me living this entrepreneurial life. Like I said, however, there are 5 things I wish I knew before I left. And this first thing we're breaking down is saving. I wish I would have saved a lot more money. I was watching this one podcast called the Poet Life Podcast. I don't know if y'all heard of that, but they got a new season coming out. It's a podcast by Christoph Jenkins. Really, really powerful for anybody anybody thinking about who's an artist thinking about breaking into full-time work as an artist. He was interviewing somebody, and she talked about how she has saved a year's worth of expenses for her house before she left her job. That's when she knew she was ready to leave, when she saved a year's worth of expenses. And I was like, damn, like, I probably should have did that. I didn't care, man. I just jumped out the window and said, hey, I'm going for it. And that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Baltimore. That's kind of how we are. We got this kind of hustle mentality. We're going to figure it out. We're going to jump out the plane and build our parachute on the way down. That's how we typically get down in Baltimore. But when she said what she said, I was like, dang, I probably should have saved a little bit more money. But it's just going to really be helpful, because you're going to have life moments. Now that you're an entrepreneur, your cash flow is going to be a lot different. It's not going to be as predictable as it was with that paycheck every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? When you had a job every 2 weeks, that paycheck was coming. You already knew what time it was. Y'all was locked in. Hold up real fast, y'all. Bam. Yeah, you already knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. However, when you're an entrepreneur, you don't exactly know yet. You can't quite predict when your income is going to come. It's going to come in different phases. You're going to be making a little bit of bread. Then you're going to get a lump sum of bread. Then you're going to be making a little bit of bread. Then you're going to be making a consistent X amount for a certain amount of weeks, and all of a sudden you ain't making nothing for 2-3 weeks. Then all of a sudden you get a huge influx. It's going to be very erratic, and what will help your journey is to save your bread before you leave your job. Save a certain amount before you leave your job, because that's really what's going to benefit you. Okay, it's going to help you in the long run. The second thing I wish I knew before I left my job, how much my lifestyle would be and how much I needed to make. So basically, the second thing you need to know before you leave your job is, what is your number? What is your number? Your number is the amount of bread you need to sustain and live the lifestyle that you want to live. So many of us don't really sit down and think about this. Like, we know what we want, but we don't actually put the valuation next to it. Because when you put the valuation next to it, now you know what you're aspiring to. Now you know exactly how hard you need to work in order to cover the lifestyle that you're living. Very recently, I just decided that my lifestyle changed. You know, I've been a nature boy, you know, just kind of out in nature with it for a long time, and just kind of, I didn't really care about materials and money and all that other stuff until I got to Atlanta, to be honest with you. You feel me? And then these last couple of years, I finally had monetary goals, and now it's time to really put those strategies in place to increase myself monetarily so that it matches the lifestyle that I'm asking for. Don't ask for a $10,000 lifestyle, but you're putting in a $2,000 work ethic. You feel me? If your lifestyle does not match the work ethic, you are going to be unhappy for the rest of your life, okay? Keep that in mind. It is so important, y'all. So yeah, figure out your number. My number is 5 million. I want to put $5 million in a index fund that is returning at 8%, and that's going to give me $300,000 to $400,000 a year, and then I can operate my life the way I want to live it. Okay, that's my number. Make sure you get your number. Make sure you know how much you want your rent to be. How much do you want to pay for your insurance and your cars and all that stuff? How much do you want to spend on food? How much do you want to spend on? All these things are very important. We kind of just living our life without really knowing our number, and we don't really know what we're striving for or when enough is enough for us. Okay, so what's your number? I wish I would have got my number before I left my job. I accumulated it and got, financially literate throughout the journey, but it wasn't until I was on the journey when I figured out what my number is. What is my lifestyle, and how much do I need to make to support that lifestyle? Okay, very important thing you need to know before you leave your job. The third thing I wish I knew before I left my job, creating a predictable stream of income would have been nice. Before I left my job, creating some form of predictable streams of income would have been nice. So let me kind of break that down a little bit. So in the first 3 or 4 years of my full-time journey, I was focused strictly on my artistry. I had to make the money through my artistry. It had to be through me teaching poetry, doing poetry, poetry pens, whatever it was. That was where that was where my focus was. Little did I know I was short-sighting myself by not allowing these other streams of income in just because it wasn't fully aligned with my artistry. And I felt like because I left my job, it had to be aligned with my artistry. If it's not aligned with my artistry, then I'm a liar. I'm not being true and honest to what I, set out to do, not realizing that these are dream funders. When you have a job or a side hustle or some other source of income that's not fully directly related to your purpose or your artistry, this is what you then call a dream funder. Your job, your side hustle, whatever it is now funding your dream. You use that income to support yourself so that you continue doing your artistry. I didn't think about that before I left my job. I just kind of separated the two. It's like there's corporate America and then there's my artist life. Not knowing that those two can really work together and kind of merge together to really, really help you in the long run as an artist, okay? So very, very important. Create some form of cash flow, whether it's you got a stock portfolio somewhere, you in the Bitcoin, you got a Bitcoin somewhere, you got assets around, maybe you have a house over here or some sort of property over there, or you got a car that's paid off, or you have assets that are paid off, that if anything happens, you can tap into this and create cash flow for yourself. For me, that didn't happen. Like I said, the first 3-4 years, I struggled because I wasn't allowing other streams of income into my life. It wasn't until I got to Atlanta when I started doing Lyft, started doing Instacart, little things like that, where I was able to really sustain myself and not put so much financial pressure on the business that I kind of miss the important steps that are involved with the business. What do I mean by that? When we're so focused on getting money out of the business, we don't really build up the integrity of it and what it's really supposed to be and become, because all we're worried about is the bottom line. The main thing you should be worried about is the impact. What is the impact your business is supposed to have? And that's how you really get to the money. But if you're so desperate and just focused on the money, you'll miss that impact part, okay? So it's very, very important to keep those things in mind. So we went through the third thing. The fourth thing, I wish I knew before I left my job. This is a big one. I wish I knew that I didn't have to waste time converting people to believe in my dreams. Let's say it again. I wish I knew that I didn't have to waste time converting people to believe in my dreams. This is so important, y'all. When I was on this journey, there was a period where I was kind of getting bitter or upset with everyone because they weren't understanding what was in my vision. I had the vision in my mind, and I was mad at other people because they couldn't see it. You feel me? And when you're super passionate about something, it can really, really turn into that. It can really turn into, well, they just hating on me, or they don't believe in me, or we set up all these narratives in our mind about what people think when we don't understand that they live in their life and we live in our own life. When I first left my job, I was so on fire about everybody leaving their job. Like, everybody leave, forget the man, and corporate America is a rat race and all these other things. Blah, blah, blah. Now, while some of these things are true, however, everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own path to think about, and you will save yourself so much stress and so many unnecessary emotions because you're not so caught up in people believing in you right away. You have to do the work. A lot of people are very visual. They need to see what you're talking about. You can't just tell them what you're talking about. You have to actually show them real proof of what you've done. And now in recent years, working with people who are Grammy nominated, performing on all these different stages. I'm on albums with, Def Poetry Jam icons and, workshops and traveling all over the country. Now people are starting to get it. Now people are starting to understand. And when I come to them with, something I got going on, they're a lot more open to it because now they've seen the proof. But in the beginning, I wasted a lot of time trying to pull people into what I believe, when really it wasn't even for them to believe at that time. It was for me to believe it, okay? So the number 4 thing, which I knew, is that I didn't have to waste time converting people to believe in my dreams, okay? The 5th and last thing I'm going to share, 5 things. The 5th thing I wish I knew before I left my job. And this is a huge one. I just talked about this today. You don't know what you don't know. The fifth thing I wish I knew before I left my job is that I don't know what I don't know. I'm going to say it one more time so that it sinks in. You don't know what you don't know. Why is this important? As an entrepreneur, when you decide you want to start a business, you want to be an artist, whatever it is, there is a lot of information that you do not know that you have to get access to in order to be successful and take your business to the next level. You will continue operating at a certain level, and this is kind of speaking to myself here too. I'm operating at a certain level and I want to expand up, I want to grow up, but I'm missing a key piece of information that I don't even know that I'm missing. And a lot of us, especially in my generation, millennials, we really get so caught up in, oh, I Googled it and I YouTubed for 3 hours. Now I know how to do everything and I'm gonna make it happen. And then when we don't get the results when we get the results that we don't want, we give up or we stop believing in ourselves, we get insecure, whatever it is. And we just kind of, we just kind of go the opposite direction because we're like, oh, well, I did everything right. It must be something wrong with the world. It must be something wrong with something else besides us. Because in our minds, we know what we know. We did it right. This is what we do, X, Y, Z. We did X, Y, Z. But that's not always the case. If you were meant to be a millionaire, you would be a millionaire right now. Why? Because a millionaire knows the information that a millionaire needs to be and to maintain their millionaire status. So if you're not there yet, there's a piece of information that you do not know that they know. Does that make sense? Okay. It's so important that we are patient with our journey. You don't know how long it's going to take for you to really get that breakthrough, that one big client, that one big gig that just takes your business to another level, that one viral video that takes your business to another level. You don't know what it is, and you don't exactly know what it's going to take to get there. But when you get there, when you finally have that moment, then you know. You're like, this is what it was. But you don't know what you don't know. So with that said, you have to move with a lot of faith when it comes to being an entrepreneur. You have to understand that I may not know what I don't know, but I'm going to put myself in position every single day, every single opportunity to figure out what it is that I do not know so I can apply it to my journey as fast as possible and get to the next level, okay? But a lot of times we allow our ego to step in, and it kind of gets in the way of us finding these pieces of information, these vital pieces of information that we do not know, okay? Very important. And that's pretty much it, y'all. Lastly, I just want to kind of give y'all a couple things to kind of help you, you know what I'm saying, on your journey with this, some kind of solutions. I don't want to just tell you stuff without giving you, you know what I'm saying, some sustenance with it, okay? So before you leave, answer this question. If money did not matter, what would you be doing? What would your life look like? If money didn't matter, what would you be doing? Think about that. Now, the next thing, ask yourself, what you would be doing if money didn't matter, is that the thing you're about to leave your job to go do? Make sure that that's the thing that you're leaving your job to go do. Something that you will be doing whether money was an object or not. This is your passion. This is your life purpose. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. And all of these distractions and this false sense of obligations has us in this kind of space where we don't pursue what's at our deepest core because we have all these other responsibilities to think about. But whatever you will be doing, if money was no object, that is what you should be leaving your job for, okay? The next thing, before you leave, are you financially literate and mature? Let's get to it. What's up, Instagram? I'm on YouTube on my show, Ain't No Money in Poetry. I just got y'all plugged in. Appreciate y'all for being here. We're about to wrap up actually right now, but we're asking a couple questions. We went into the top 5. Now we're getting into these couple of questions I want you to ask yourself before you leave your job. Are you financially literate and mature? Unfortunately, I was not before I left my job. I was not financially literate. I was not financially mature. Why do I say this? Because I wasn't really saving my money. I didn't really understand money like that, to be honest with you. I didn't understand it was a tool and not just meant to be spent. A lot of people think money is just meant to be spent, but that's kind of a one-sided way of looking at it. It should be spent on what? How you spend your money is very, very important. This man named Prince Donnell, who runs Jumping Jack Tax in Philadelphia, he says, are you the CEO of your own life yet? Before you become the CEO of a business, are you the CEO of your life yet? Ask yourself, are you mild-tempered? Are you communicative? Can you communicate with people effectively? Can you get along with people? Is your taxes in order? Is your finances in order? Do you know how to do these things for yourself? See, when we have a job, we can just clock in. They handling all the administrative work. We clock out. We go home. We ain't got to think about stuff. But there is somebody at that job that you clocked in at handling these administrative duties. You feel me? Are you capable of that? Now you have to do that for yourself. You clock in, you do the work, but when you clock out, you don't just clock out now. You have a lot of administrative work around the thing that you clocked into to make sure it's there for you tomorrow. You have to understand, as an entrepreneur, your days off are a little bit different, okay? Meaning we don't really get sick days like that. We can't even afford to get sick like that. You feel me? And we're going to do another episode talking about health and how that's very important to being successful in our business. A lot of people, they bring these terrible habits with them from their job or while they were at their job into this entrepreneurial world. And now it's having a double effect. It's really, really tearing you down because you don't even realize that the way you was eating was conducive to your job. But now that you work for yourself, you have to be a whole lot more conscious about how you take care of yourself, because there are the benefits and all that stuff that changes when you leave your job and decide you want to work for yourself full time. Okay. So boom. I'm my toughest boss. Real shit. Real talk. Real talk. Do you understand? Okay. Boom. The last thing. Okay. Why are you doing this? Okay, well, we're gonna skip that. Before you leave your job, why are you doing this? Okay, why are you doing it? Okay, that was just gonna be some philosophical stuff. We about to close with this last question. Can you be aggressively patient? And this is what we're going home on, y'all. Can you be aggressively patient? I took this term from an awesome dude. He's the founder of a life insurance company called I don't know what it is, but his name is Patrick Bet-David. He has a media company called Valuetainment. You have to check him out on YouTube. But he says you have to be aggressively patient. Aggressively patient. It's like you're patient, but you're aggressive about how you're being patient, okay? You're patient and understanding, look, I don't know what I don't know. There's a piece of information I'm missing, but here it is. I'm going for it. But that aggressiveness comes in with your fire for figuring out what it is that you need to know, doing the things that you need to do, that you can do right now. If there's something you can do today, you should be doing that today, okay? But being patient to know that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. As soon as the stars align, it's coming around for your boy, okay? And that's it, y'all. That's all I got. I think we kind of went through this one pretty fast. Ain't No Money in Poetry, 5 things you need to know before you leave your job. This is powered by Star Power Performance and Revenue Resource Center. You guys I really hope y'all tap in with me really soon. It's just a really powerful program. You know, it's an initiative that nobody is really doing on this level. There are micro versions of it, but nobody is passionate as I am about seeing our spoken word artists, our live performers in general win, and pulling these performance and revenue resources into one spot for us to really benefit and really take our lives to the next level, so we can leave our job and not feel anything about it, because we got a community, we got people around us, we have everything we need to really take our artistry to the next level and be full time at this thing and do it like the Fortune 500 companies do it. You feel me? I'm Mr. B ROCKSTAR. You already know what time it is. I appreciate y'all so much. This is another episode. We out. YouTube, what's going on, y'all? I'm out. Hold up. Wait a minute. I hope that was recording. 24 minutes? How do I keep going over time like this? I really